The forest was silent, but not with peace. It was the silence before danger. The tall black trees stood like sharp knives against the night sky. Cold mist floated low, curling around the roots. The place smelled of damp earth and something strange, like iron mixed with blood. A sudden scream tore the silence. It was high, sharp, full of pain. The scream belonged to a young alien girl. Her small body shook as she tried to pull her leg free. A cruel metal trap had snapped shut around her ankle. The sharp jaws cut into her skin and blood dripped onto the dark soil. She screamed again, her voice echoing between the trees. But no one answered. She looked left, right, and up at the endless dark sky. She was alone. Her people never came this deep into the forest. The place was cursed, they said. But she had come to prove she was brave. Now the forest punished her for her pride. Tears burned her eyes. She pulled and pulled, but the trap held strong. Every movement made the sharp teeth bite deeper. She covered her mouth, trying to hold back a cry, but another sound escaped. Weak, broken. Somewhere far away, footsteps crunched leaves. A man was moving through the forest. Not one of her people. His body was heavy with wounds. His uniform was torn, blood soaking his arm and chest. His boots dragged, but he kept walking. He was human, a stranger to this world. He should not have been alive. Hours ago, his unit had been attacked. The sky had burned with fire, machines had fallen, and his brothers were gone. Somehow he had crawled away from the battlefield, deeper and deeper into the alien woods. He had no weapon left, no food, only his ears and his will to keep moving. Then he heard it. The scream. He froze. His soldier's instincts warned him. Traps. Enemies, danger. But his heart pushed him forward. A scream like that, and it was not a warrior's cry. It was someone helpless. He moved toward the sound, his steps slow, careful. His breath was heavy, but he kept going. The girl heard movement. Panic hit her chest. She thought it was the hunters who set the trap. Her small hands searched for a stone, a stick, anything to fight. But then she saw him. A tall figure stepped out from the mist. A man, but not of her kind. His skin pale compared to hers, his eyes sharp even in the dark. His chest rose and fell fast, like he was about to collapse. For a moment, they stared at each other, two strangers, two enemies by blood. The girl's lips trembled. She wanted to scream again, but her throat was dry. The man did not speak. He only saw the trap biting her leg, saw the blood, and the fear in her eyes. Slowly he moved closer. The girl shook her head. She did not trust him. Humans were killers. Everyone said so. She pulled at the trap again, even though it hurt. The man raised a hand, showing it empty. His voice came low, broken, but soft. Stay still. Don't fight it. The words were strange to her ears, but she understood the tone. Not anger, not threat. Calm. He knelt near the trap. His fingers touched the metal jaws. They were cruel, sharp, made to hold, not to release. He pressed, pulled, but the trap did not open. His injured arm trembled. His face tightened with pain. The girl bit her lip. She saw his hands bleeding as the sharp edges cut him. He could leave. He could walk away. But he stayed. Minutes passed. His breath grew weaker, but he pushed harder. Then, click. The jaws opened. The girl cried out as he pulled her leg free. She fell onto the ground, holding her bloody ankle. The man sat back, his chest heaving. His hand dripped with blood from the metal. She stared at him, confused. Why would a human help her? Before she could ask, a new sound filled the air. Voices, heavy steps, the crunch of armored boots. The hunters. The girl's eyes went wide. She knew that sound. The hunters who set the trap were returning. If they found her with a human, they would kill them both. The man heard it too. His soldier's mind woke again. He pulled the girl up, supporting her weight with his shoulder. She was weak, limping, but he did not let her fall. Move, he whispered. The forest around them darkened even more. Strange lights glowed between the trees. Red eyes. Machines scanning. The hunters were close. The girl leaned on him, her heart beating fast. She did not know why she trusted him. She did not know if she should, but for now he was the only one who had heard her screams, the only one who had answered. They slipped into the shadows, moving as fast as they could. Behind them, the hunters searched, their voices cold, their machines hungry. The trap was broken, but the real danger had just begun. The forest did not rest. After the trap was broken, the night became louder. Strange insects clicked in the trees, mist moved like white smoke, and far away heavy boots crushed dead leaves. The hunters were close. The alien girl leaned on the human soldier. Her ankle bled, but she kept moving. Her heart beat fast in her chest. Every step made her wonder if they would be caught. The man said nothing. His face was hard, his jaw set. His wounds burned, but he ignored them. He had carried men through battlefields before. Tonight he carried a stranger, a girl who should have been his enemy. Behind them came the sound of machines, drones with red eyes that scanned the dark. Their lights cut through the mist like knives. The girl's breath shook. She whispered, "They are hunting us." The man only nodded. He already knew. They moved deeper into the forest, but the ground was not kind. Roots rose like traps, stones cut their feet, and every branch snapped under their weight. The man wished for silence, but silence was impossible. The forest betrayed them with every step. Then came the first roar. It was not human, not alien, not even machine. It was something wild, a beast living in the deep woods disturbed by the hunter's noise. The girl's eyes widened. She knew that sound. "Forest beasts," she whispered. "They wake when the hunters come." The man pulled her closer. He looked around. To the left, shadows. To the right, more mist. Above, thick branches that blocked the moonlight. There was no clear path. The hunters' voices grew louder. Strange, cold words, like metal grinding. Their machines moved faster. The man felt the girl shaking against him. She was light, smaller than his gear from war. He adjusted his grip and whispered, "Run." And they ran. At first, the girl thought she could not. Her ankle screamed with pain, but fear gave her strength. Together they stumbled through the trees, their bodies crashing through tall grass. Behind them, red lights flashed, beams cutting the mist. A shot cracked the air. A tree near them exploded into splinters. The girl cried out, but the man pulled her down. They crawled low, the cold earth sticking to their skin. Another shot burned the ground inches from her hand. The hunters were firing now. The man's soldier mind worked fast. He counted the shots, marked the distance, studied the rhythm of their steps. They were trained, but so was he. Even wounded, even lost, he knew how to survive. "Left," he whispered. He pulled her toward a narrow path where the roots bent, high like arches. They ducked under, their bodies scraping bark. The path twisted, then opened into a wide clearing. But the clearing was worse. The moonlight revealed bones scattered across the ground, large, broken, some still stained with blood. The smell of rot filled the air. The girl's breath caught. This is their feeding ground. The man's eyes scanned the bones, then the shadows. He saw movement, large, crawling shapes between the trees. Eyes glowed green in the dark. The beasts were here. Now they had two choices: face the hunters behind them, or face the beasts ahead. The girl's hand clutched his sleeve. "We cannot stay." He knew she was right. Waiting meant death. So he did the only thing a soldier could do. He chose the path that gave them a chance. "Move," he whispered again. They ran across the bone field, careful not to trip. Every sound seemed to wake the forest more. A low growl shook the air, followed by the sound of claws scraping stone. Behind them, hunters entered the clearing. Red light swept across the bones. The hunters saw their prey, but so did the beasts. For a brief moment, the hunters and the beasts stared at each other. Then chaos exploded. The beasts leapt from the shadows, huge bodies covered in dark fur and armored skin. Their jaws snapped like steel. One beast slammed into a hunter, crushing him into the dirt. Machines fired back, sparks flying. The clearing became a battlefield of metal and fang. The man pulled the girl to the side, moving fast while the two enemies fought. Her ankle bled more with each step, but she bit her lip, refusing to cry out. The air smelled of burning metal and blood. Screams mixed with roars. Drones flew overhead, firing blindly, hitting beasts and hunters alike. The man knew they had seconds before both sides noticed them again. He spotted a crack in the ground at the far end of the clearing. It looked small, hidden under vines. A tunnel. Maybe safety. "Over there," he said. They rushed toward it, but one of the beasts noticed them. It turned, its green eyes locking onto the girl. It charged, each step shaking the earth. The girl froze, terror in her eyes. The man shoved her forward. "Go!" She fell toward the crack, her hands grabbing vines. She looked back just as the beast reached the man. Its massive jaw opened, teeth shining with saliva. The man did not move away. He stood his ground, picking up a broken hunter's spear from the ground. His body burned with pain, but his grip was steady. The beast lunged. The man roared back, driving the spear upward. The girl screamed as the two bodies clashed. Dust filled the air. She could not see who won. But then, silence. The man stumbled into view, blood running down his arm. The beast lay behind him, dead, its body twitching. He limped to her, his voice rough. "Inside, now." She crawled into the tunnel first, the man following close. Above, the sounds of battle grew louder. Hunters, beasts, and machines tore at each other. The tunnel was dark, wet, and narrow. But for now, it was their only shield. The girl breathed hard, her body shaking. She looked at the man, his face pale, blood dripping. He should have left her long ago, but he hadn't. For the first time, she whispered, almost too soft to hear. "Why? Why do you help me?" The man did not answer. His eyes stayed forward, always searching. But inside, he knew the truth. He had heard her scream, and he could not ignore it. Not then. Not now. The tunnel led deeper underground, and whatever waited there, it was their next trial. The tunnel was long and cold. Its walls were damp stone, rough and cracked with age. The alien girl crawled first, her small hands trembling as they touched the wet ground. Behind her, the human soldier followed, every move slow. His wounded body screamed with pain, but he stayed close, never letting her out of sight. The air smelled of dust and old fire. Strange symbols were scratched into the stone, glowing faintly with blue light. The girl brushed her fingers over them. They were marks of her people, but older. So old even her elders did not speak of them. Her voice shook. "This place, it should not exist." The man said nothing. His eyes, trained from war, studied the walls. The glowing signs were not random. They repeated in patterns like orders waiting to be read. But he could not understand them. He only knew one thing. They had walked into something forgotten. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber. The ceiling was high, lost in shadows. Broken pillars leaned sideways, half buried in the earth. At the center stood a stone platform with a circle carved into it. Around the circle, more glowing symbols pulsed like a heartbeat. The girl froze. Her people had spoken of such places in whispers, ruins that belonged to the first builders, long before humans ever reached the stars. These ruins held power and curses. The man stepped forward. His boots echoed on the stone. He should have felt fear, but instead he felt something stranger, something pulling him closer. His chest grew tight, his blood hot. The girl grabbed his arm. "Do not touch it, it is forbidden." But he could not stop. His hand rose, almost without his will. When his skin touched the carved circle, the entire chamber shuddered. The blue symbols blazed into white light. The floor shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The girl cried out, pulling away, but the man did not move. His hand burned, yet he felt no pain, only connection. Images flashed in his mind. Not memories, not dreams. Visions. He saw stars falling, ships burning and armies fleeing. He saw the same hunters chasing others long ago, their red eyes shining. He saw humans, his people, standing in these ruins before, though he knew humans had never been here. He staggered back, gasping. The girl stared at him in horror. You made it answer. The chamber grew silent again except for the echo of her words. She shook her head, disbelief in her eyes. It should answer only to my people, but it listens to you. The man wiped the sweat from his brow. His hand still glowed faintly where he touched the stone. He wanted to deny it, but he could not. Something inside him had awakened. Before he could speak, the ground trembled again. Different this time. Heavy, steady. Footsteps. The hunters had found the tunnel. The girl's eyes widened. They are coming. The man looked at the glowing platform. He felt a choice. Run deeper into the unknown, or stand and fight here. His body was too weak for another fight, but the ruins... Maybe the ruins could help. He stepped onto the platform. The circle lit beneath his boots. The walls hummed with a deep sound like a giant heartbeat. Stone shifted and a hidden door slid open at the far side of the chamber. The girl gasped. It opened for you. The man did not waste time. He grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the door. She stumbled, still confused, still afraid, but she followed. They rushed through as voices echoed in the chamber behind them. The hunters entered, their red eyes sweeping the ruins. But the door closed, sealing the man and the girl inside. The new passage was darker, tighter. The air was colder, filled with the scent of old metal. Strange shapes lined the walls, machines half buried in stone, silent for centuries. The girl whispered, "These are weapons of the first builders. My people never touched them. They feared them." The man brushed his hand over the metal. The machines hummed faintly, as if waking. He pulled back quickly. His chest felt heavy again, the same pull as before. The girl watched him closely. "It is you. The ruins call to you." He shook his head. "I don't want it." Her voice grew sharp. "Want it or not, you cannot escape it. The ruins have chosen you." Their words ended when the passage opened into another vast chamber. This one was different. Clean, smooth, alive. The walls pulsed with light like veins, under skin. At the center stood a tall structure, half stone, half machine, glowing like a star trapped inside. The girl's fear grew. This is the core. No one has seen it in 1,000 years. The man stared at it. He felt the same pull, stronger now, as if the core was alive, waiting for him. Before he could step closer, the ground shook again. The hunters were breaking through the first chamber. Time was running out. The girl's voice trembled. "If they take the core, all worlds will burn. My people believe this. That is why no one enters these ruins." The man clenched his fists. He had survived war, fire, and beasts. Now he faced something far greater, power older than any army. He looked at the girl. Her ankle was weak, her face pale with fear. She could not run far. His choice was clear. He turned back to the core. The light grew brighter as he stepped forward. The girl called after him, her voice breaking. "No, you don't understand what it will do." But the man did not stop. He placed his blood-stained hand on the core. The chamber erupted in light. The light from the core faded slowly, leaving the chamber quiet again. The human stood still, his hand trembling. His chest rose and fell like he had run for hours. The alien girl watched him with wide, frightened eyes. "What did you do?" she whispered. He shook his head. "I don't know." But he did know one thing. The ruins had awakened. The walls still hummed, a deep sound like breathing. The air grew warmer, and the floor seemed to pulse, alive beneath their feet. Then, the silence broke. A deep groan echoed from below. The stone floor cracked, dust falling from the ceiling. The girl stumbled back. Something is waking. The man stepped forward, his eyes scanning the chamber. He had felt battlefields shake before, but this was different. This was not machines or bombs. This was something alive. The ground split open. A massive slab of stone slid aside, revealing a dark pit beneath the chamber. Cold air rushed up, carrying the smell of rust and death. From the pit came the sound of chains dragging. The girl's face turned pale. No, they kept it here. The man frowned. What is it? Before she could answer, the chains rattled louder. Something huge moved in the darkness below. Then two glowing eyes opened, yellow, bright, filled with hunger. The creature pulled itself out of the pit. It was larger than any beast the man had faced. Its body was part flesh, part machine, covered in scars of metal plates and broken wires. Four legs slammed onto the floor, shaking the chamber. Its mouth opened, filled with sharp teeth dripping with black slime. The girl whispered, "It is a guardian. The ruins made it. It kills all intruders." The man tightened his jaw. His body was weak, his wounds deep. He had no real weapon, only the broken spear he had carried from the forest. But he stepped in front of the girl anyway. The creature roared. The sound shook the chamber like thunder. The hunters' voices echoed from behind. They had broken through the door. Red light swept into the chamber. For a moment, they froze, staring at the massive beast before them. The girl's voice shook. "Hunters and Guardian, we are trapped." The man's soldier mind worked fast. He knew one thing: chaos was survival. If the hunters and the beast fought each other, he and the girl might escape. The beast turned toward the hunters. Its eyes glowed brighter, its mouth dripping. With a roar, it charged. The hunters opened fire. Red beams lit the chamber, burning into the beast's skin. Sparks flew. Black blood sprayed, but the beast did not stop. It crushed two hunters under its claws and ripped a drone from the air with its jaws. The chamber filled with screams, gunfire, and roars. The man pulled the girl back toward the wall. "Move." They slipped through shadows, the battle covering their escape. But the girl's ankle slowed her. Every step was pain. The man lifted her, carrying her against his chest. His muscles burned, but he pushed forward. The ruins seemed alive around them. Symbols lit the walls. Doors opened where none had been before. It was as if the ruins guided their path. They entered a narrow hall. The sound of the battle faded, replaced by dripping water and the hum of machines. The girl clung to the man's chest, her eyes still wide with fear. Her voice was soft. "The Guardian, it did not attack you. It looked at you, but then it turned away." The man said nothing. He remembered the beast's eyes. For 1 second before it charged the hunters, those eyes had locked with his. And in that second, he felt no hatred, only recognition. The thought made him uneasy. They reached another chamber, smaller, filled with cages. Old, broken cages, some with bones still inside. Shackles hung from the walls. The girl covered her mouth, tears in her eyes. "My ancestors said the ruins were prisons. They were right." The man set her down carefully. His eyes scanned the cages. Some were massive, built to hold creatures like the Guardian. Others were small, too small. He felt a chill in his chest. Whoever built this place had captured many. The girl's voice trembled. "Why does it obey you? Why does this place answer you?" The man shook his head. He had no answer, but inside a dark thought grew. Maybe he was not just surviving here, maybe he was becoming part of it. The ground shook again. The battle in the other chamber had ended. Footsteps echoed. The hunters were not all dead. They were coming. The girl grabbed his arm. "We cannot fight both them and the Guardian. We must hide." He looked around. No exits, only cages. But one cage door was open, leading into darkness. He frowned. That's not hiding. That's another trap. Her eyes pleaded. It is the only way. He hesitated, but he knew she was right. He helped her inside the open cage, then stepped in himself. The air inside was colder, heavier. The door closed behind them. Darkness swallowed them whole. The man gripped the broken spear tightly. He could hear the girl's quick breaths, the faint hum of machines in the walls. Then, from the deeper dark, another sound answered. Low breathing. Something else was already inside the cage with them. The girl's eyes widened. She whispered one word, barely a breath. Monster. The cage was dark, too dark to see. The girl clung to the man's arm, her body trembling. The sound of heavy breathing echoed from the corner. Something alive was inside with them. The man lifted the broken spear, his eyes narrowing into the shadows. His soldier's instincts sharpened, every muscle ready. A low growl rumbled, deep and wet. The air carried the smell of rot. The girl's whisper broke the silence. It knows we are here. The man stepped forward slowly, the spear tight in his hand. The breathing grew louder. Then two dim shapes glowed in the dark, eyes yellow and wide. The creature moved into the faint light leaking through the cracks of the cage. It was smaller than the guardian, but still larger than a man. Its body was thin, its skin stretched over bones, metal spikes jutting from its back. Chains hung from its neck, broken long ago. It growled, but it did not attack. It stopped in front of the man, lowering its head. The girl gasped. It bows. The man's grip loosened. He stared at the beast, confused. He had faced monsters before. None had ever bowed. He took a cautious step closer. The beast growled once more, then pressed its head against the ground. The girl shook her head in disbelief. This is not possible. My people feared these ruins because the guardians kill everything. But this one, it obeys you. The man reached out slowly, his hand trembling. His fingers brushed the beast's head. The skin was rough, hot, but the creature did not bite. Instead, it shivered like it had been waiting for this touch for centuries. The girl's voice was soft, filled with wonder and fear. Why you? Why does it choose you? The man had no answer. He only knew the ruins kept calling to him, and now even the monsters seemed to listen. The beast let out a strange sound, half growl, half hum. The walls of the cage responded, symbols glowing faint blue, chains pulled back, and the cage door slid open on its own. The girl's eyes widened. It freed us. The man looked at the beast. It stared back, silent but watchful. Somehow, he knew, it wanted to guide them. They stepped out of the cage. The chamber outside was still full of shadows. Distant echoes of hunters' boots carried through the halls. The battle with the guardian had slowed them, but they were coming again. The beast walked ahead, its claws clicking on the stone floor. The man followed, carrying the girl. Her ankle was swollen, her face pale, but she kept her eyes fixed on the strange creature. She whispered, "If the hunters see it with us, they will know the ruins gave you power." The man grunted, "Let them know. I only care that we live." The beast led them into a wide passage. The walls, here were smoother, glowing brighter. Strange machines, long asleep, flickered to life as they passed. Lights followed their steps as if the ruins themselves recognized their path. The girl shivered. The first builders left this power to protect something, and now it wakes for you. That means... She stopped, afraid to say more. The man looked at her. It means what? Her voice was small. It means you are part of their plan. Before he could answer, the beast stopped suddenly. Its ears twitched. Then it growled low, a warning. The man heard it too. Voices. The hunters were close, their machines moving fast. The beast bared its teeth. The man tightened his grip on the spear, but instead of charging, the beast slammed a claw against the wall. A hidden door opened, revealing another tunnel. The man carried the girl inside. The beast followed, and the door closed silently behind them. This new tunnel sloped downward. The air grew colder, but the light was brighter, glowing veins running along the walls. The tunnel opened into another chamber, round, high, filled with pools of still water. Machines rose from the pools, tall and broken, like statues watching them. The girl whispered, "This is the inner sanctum. Even my ancestors never came this far." The man set her down gently. He looked at the beast. It moved to the center of the chamber and lowered itself, almost bowing again. The girl's eyes filled with fear and awe. "It serves you. That means you are not just a survivor. You are something else." The man shook his head firmly. "I am a soldier, nothing more." But even as he spoke, he felt the weight of her words. The ground shook again. From the tunnel behind came the sound of hunters breaking walls, cutting through doors. They were close, too close. The girl clutched his arm. "If they catch us here, they will kill us and take the core." The beast rose, growling. Its eyes burned bright, ready to fight. The man's chest tightened. He had one broken weapon, one beast, and a girl who could barely walk. Against machines, drones, and hunters, their chances were small. Still, he stood. He had carried his brothers through fire. He would carry this girl through ruins. He would not stop. The girl whispered again, her voice trembling. "Why? Why do you fight for me?" He looked at her. His voice was rough, quiet. "Because I heard you scream, and no one else did." The beast roared, the chamber shaking with its power. Lights on the walls blazed to life as if the ruins themselves prepared for battle. The hunters were almost at the door. The man gripped his spear. The girl held her breath. The beast crouched, ready to strike, and the ruins pulsed, waiting for the fight to begin. The chamber pulsed with light. Strange symbols blazed across the walls like veins of fire. The beast stood in the center, growling deep, its body tense as if ready to tear apart the world. The girl clung to the man's arm. Her ankle throbbed, but fear kept her awake. She whispered, "They are almost here, I can hear them." And she was right. From beyond the stone doors came the heavy steps of hunters, their metal boots striking like drums. Drones buzzed, their red lights cutting through cracks in the walls. The man's grip tightened on his broken spear. His breath was slow, controlled. He had faced death many times, but this was different. This was not a war of soldiers. This was a fight against something ancient, something that wanted him for reasons he did not understand. The stone doors shook. "Oh." Cold voice echoed through the chamber, carried by machines. "Target detected, human, eliminate." The girl's body froze. The hunters were not after her. They wanted him. The doors exploded inward. Smoke filled the air. Shapes marched through. The dust. Hunters in black armor, their red eyes glowing like fire. Drones swarmed above them, ready to strike. The beast roared and leapt. Its claws tore through the first line of hunters, crushing armor, spraying sparks and blood. Drones fired beams, but the beast moved too fast, its massive body smashing everything in its way. The girl covered her ears. The sound was deafening, roars, screams, the hiss of burning metal. The man did not hide. He stepped forward, his broken spear in hand. His body ached, his wounds bled, but his mind was sharp. He moved like a soldier again, quick, precise, deadly. A drone swooped down. He spun the spear and smashed it through its core, sparks bursting like stars. A hunter charged with a blade. He sidestepped, rammed the spear into its chest and pushed it down. The ruins seemed to fight with him. Lights flashed with every strike. Stone pillars shifted, blocking drones, opening new paths. It was as if the entire chamber wanted him alive. "The girl's eyes widened. "It protects you." But the man had no time to listen. More hunters rushed forward, their weapons glowing. He ducked, rolled, and struck. His arm shook with weakness, but he forced his body to keep moving. The beast slammed into the largest hunter, throwing it across the chamber. Its roar shook dust from the ceiling. But beams cut into its side, burning flesh and metal. The beast howled, falling to its knees. The girl screamed, "No!" The man's chest burned. He ran toward the beast, cutting down a drone in his path. He reached its side, his hand pressing against its rough skin. The beast lifted its head. Its yellow eyes glowed, not with rage, but with something else. Trust. The ruins answered. The floor lit beneath them, symbols burning brighter. A wave of light burst outward, knocking hunters back. The girl covered her face as the blast shook the chamber. "What are you?" she cried. Man's voice was low, heavy. "I don't know." But inside he felt it. The ruins were not just alive. They were choosing him. The hunters regrouped, their leader stepping forward. Taller than the rest, its armor burned with red markings. Its voice was cold as ice. "You are the anomaly. You will not leave this place." The man tightened his grip on the spear. The beast rose beside him, bleeding but still ready. The girl's hand shook as she held onto the wall. "Please, if they take the core, they will destroy my world. Yours too." The man looked at her. He remembered her scream in the forest, her blood on the trap. He remembered carrying her when she could not walk. He had fought for brothers before. Tonight, he fought for her. The leader raised its weapon. Drones circled like vultures. The man stepped forward, his voice firm. "Then we fight until the end," the beast roared. The girl held her breath. The hunters charged. The chamber became fire and blood. Spears clashed with blades, drones burned in midair. The beast ripped through armor with teeth and claws. The man fought like a shadow, striking fast, never stopping, even as pain tore his body. But the hunters were many, too many. One blade sliced across his chest. Another slammed into his back. He staggered, his knees weak. The girl screamed his name, her voice breaking. The beast leapt to shield him, but beams cut through its side. It fell, roaring in pain. The leader hunter raised its weapon, aiming at the man's head. The girl's eyes filled with tears. She tried to crawl toward him, but her ankle betrayed her. The man looked up at the hunter, his vision blurring. He had no strength left. His body was broken, but his spirit was not. He spat blood, tightened his grip on the spear, and stood tall. Even if this was the end, he would not kneel. The leader's blade came down. The girl screamed, and the ruins answered. Light erupted from the walls, brighter than the sun. The hunters froze. The beast lifted its head. The man's body glowed, symbols burning on his skin. The ruins had chosen their champion. The chamber burned with light. The ruins were no longer stone and dust. They were alive, walls glowing, floor shaking, air filled with energy. Symbols blazed across every surface, spinning like fire. The hunters froze, their red eyes flickering in confusion. The beast lay on the ground, bleeding, but lifted its head to watch. The girl shielded her eyes, tears falling down her face. At the center stood the man. His body glowed with the same symbols as the ruins, lines of light carved across his skin. His wounds still bled, but the pain was gone. The ruins had taken him in. They had chosen him. The hunter leader pointed its blade. Its cold voice echoed, "You are not worthy. You are human. You are weak." The man's voice answered, strong and clear. "Maybe I am weak, but I will not let you take her. I will not let you take this place." The chamber roared with energy, as if the ruins agreed. The hunters charged. The man moved faster than before. His broken spear blazed with light, glowing like a blade of fire. He swung it once, and 3 hunters fell, their armor split open. Drones swooped down, but the ruins answered his thoughts. A wave of light burst from the walls, blasting them from the air. The beast struggled to stand. Blood poured from its wounds, but it roared one last time and threw itself at the enemy. Its claws ripped through hunters, its teeth broke metal. Even dying, it fought to protect the man. The girl crawled to the beast, tears running down her face. She touched its head, whispering, in her own tongue. The beast lowered its eyes and went still, its last breath fading. The man saw, but he could not stop. The hunters pressed harder. The leader moved through the smoke, its blade glowing red. Every strike was strong enough to break stone. The man met it head-on. Sparks flew with every clash. The ruins pulsed brighter, giving him strength, guiding his steps. He was not just fighting as a soldier anymore. He was fighting as something more, a chosen protector. But the leader was powerful. It cut deep into his side, its blade burning like fire. The man staggered, blood pouring. He almost fell. The girl screamed, "No, please don't die." The man forced himself to stand. His voice was rough, but steady. "I won't." He looked at the core at the far side of the chamber. It glowed brighter than ever, pulsing like a heart. He knew what it wanted, he knew what he had to do. He charged the leader one last time. Their blades clashed, the sound like thunder. The leader struck his chest, driving him to his knees. But, instead of falling, the man grabbed the leader's arm and pulled it forward. With his last strength, he plunged his glowing spear into the core. The chamber exploded in light. The hunters screamed. Their bodies froze, their armor cracking, their red eyes shattering like glass. One by one they fell, lifeless. The leader staggered, its body burning from inside. It looked at the man with rage, then collapsed into ash. Silence followed. The girl opened her eyes slowly. The hunters were gone. Only the man remained, kneeling at the core. His body glowed like fire, the ruins still burning through him. She crawled to him, ignoring her pain. "You saved us. You saved me." His face was pale, his breath weak. He smiled faintly. "Not saved. Not yet." The core's light wrapped around him, pulling him upward. The symbols on his skin grew brighter, almost too bright to look at. The girl's hands clutched his arm. "Don't go. Please, stay." His voice was soft, but strong. "If I stay, the hunters will return. If I go, they will never come again." Her eyes filled with tears. "Why you? Why not my people?" He looked at her, his eyes calm. "Because I heard your scream, and I answered." The ruins rose higher, swallowing him in light. The chamber shook as the core sealed itself. The hunters' machines outside collapsed, their power gone forever. The forest above trembled, traps breaking, drones falling silent. The girl cried out one last time, but the man was gone. Silence fell again. The ruins dimmed, their light fading to a soft glow. The girl sat on the floor, her tears falling into the dust. The beast's body lay beside her, still and cold. She whispered, "He was not of my people, but he was more than any of us." Outside, the forest grew quiet. No more hunters, no more traps, only peace. The girl rose slowly, her ankle weak, her body trembling. She looked at the glowing walls, the silent core, and whispered again, "Maybe humans are not here to conquer. Maybe they are here to protect." She limped toward the tunnel, the ruins lighting her path. Somewhere deep inside, she knew the story of the man would not end here. The ruins had taken him, yes, but they had chosen him for a reason, and one day he would return.